I wanted to do this in the best possible manner for that group and for our town. So if it meant me spending a little more of my own time, that would be fine. What I'm trying to avoid is, I'll read you an audit from Long Island. The town made payments totaling $3,000 to two private entities, the town's senior citizens group and the town's historical society. The claim simply indicated annual contribution of 2010 budget and annual donation to the historical society. However, the state constitution prohibits gifts and loans, and if you want that, I have the number of that, where it is in the Constitution, in aid of private entities. The contractual arrangement under which the town receives services in furtherance of a town program for its residents. Both claims were audited and approved by the board without any contractual arrangement for services to be rendered in furtherance of a town program. Once these payments were made, the town had no enforceable promise by these groups that the monies would be expended to further any town program. Because town officials paid incomplete or unsubstantiated claims, failed to properly approve and audit claims before payment, and failed to verify that goods and services were actually received. There's an increased risk that the town made inappropriate, excessive, or unauthorized payments or goods and services that were not received by the town. What we are looking for as a town board is to do this in the easiest manner for the seniors group, but we don't want it to get backlash to us because we're the ones that get audited. And it has been 20 years since Unionville has seen an audit, and now that we've all been to these trainings, they are aware of the time. We are not anticipating it will be much longer. So for now, Gloria Meyer has agreed to try the voucher process just for 1 month. She actually said she's totally on board with it, she's fine, but I said just try it for a month, and then we talk, and she has my number to call me, and we're just gonna try it for a month. She assures me they have the money to put out. She's like, we're not in need of money at all. I don't know what's true or how much they spend per meeting. So that is the way we're going to do it, so that the money that is in the budget can get into their hands, rather than just a check, which obviously in this day and age, we all read the news and we all know that people get in trouble because they paid a mortgage with that check. I don't think there's any wrongdoing here, but we don't want them to get in trouble, and we don't want to get in trouble. So this, I put a motion that we absolutely give them the money that's in the budget. We just need to do it. I've already spoken to the comptroller's office. I already know we can't write them a check. They have my name, so I'm sure they're looking out. So, I'm not. As long as they're willing to try this, I say we try this. If not, we try something else. If we go to a contract, we can ask our lawyer to write up a contract.
Have we consulted the town attorney on this?
No.
No?
You can.
Do you have an opinion on it that you can?
Well, what the councilwoman said is accurate under the law. You can't just give a group money because there is accountability that the state wants. One of the things that Rob brought up, if they are providing programs, recreation parks programs, that's one thing. That would be a contractual relationship, and then the town they could submit a voucher through the recreation department, and based on Rob's audit and the town board's audit, they could be paid that way. The other thing would be, like Councilwoman Kelly said, if they're using the money for expenses, obviously, operating expenses, they could submit vouchers, and the town could then disperse the funds. But I think it's important for the town board, regardless of what past practice was, that going forward, that there is a paper trail, that if the town does get audited and the town board gets audited, there's a paper trail for an auditor to receive from the comptroller's office that, yes, the money was budgeted, the money was expended, and here's the backup information, so everything's above board. That would be my...
Have you reviewed our past practice to say that it wasn't meeting the requirements?
No, I'm just hearing what was said tonight, that in the past they were just issued checks in February and July. I don't know if that's...
I haven't been able to...
I don't know if that's accurate, Steve, or not. I'm just saying, going forward, just for everybody's protection, it may be just better to either go through the recreation department if they're providing programs. That's a legitimate purpose to fund them, especially for the seniors. That they're providing a service to the seniors in the community, that's a legitimate purpose, or the voucher system, whichever one everybody agrees to, I think would be perfectly legal.
Okay.
Okay, so I think our next move is to discuss this with, well, Karina already discussed it with the.
Yeah, it sounds like they want to go to the voucher
And they're gonna go to
process.
voucher
They- yeah.
process.
And when they give
if-
the voucher, we'll give them money.
Right, and if they feel that this is just a burden,
Right,
then we can go through Rob and do the contract and give them the money.
right.
And if they don't need it, we'll keep it.
No, but again,
Right.
this was one of the classes I took down in New York, and I took a class on policy and procedure, I took a class on budgeting, and again, from the comptroller's office, they were very, very emphatic on, you know, making sure that everything has a paper trail. So,
Okay, we're gonna do resolutions. At this point, I'd like to make a motion to allow Mark Coviello to use the town hall on February 23rd at 6:30 to,
I'll
meet
second
with the
that.
veterans.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Karina, do you wanna read the first one?
Sure. It should be a little bit longer though. Am I putting in names?
Well, yeah, Alan,
Who are the two alternates?
Kay, and now Mondello. For the-
Resolution 16-18, appointing planning board and zoning board of appeal members. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby appoints Alan Natchev to the position of Unionville Planning Board member for a term expiring December 31st, 2022. Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby appoints, there's two planning board alternates, Ralph Mondello and Kay Sanglabeni, to the position of Unionville Planning Board alternates for a term expiring, in front of me, it says December 31st of
3 years.
2016, but town code says it's a 3-year term. So I'm going to amend that to 2019 for the alternate 3-year term. Be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Unionville hereby reappoints really, James Layton to the position of Town of Unionville Zoning Board of Appeal member for a term ending December 31st of 2020. It's 2020 because his term was up at the end of 2015, so it's 5 years. And there's another position now open on the Zoning Board of Appeals, so be it further resolved that the town board, the town of Unionville, hereby appoints Alana Nilsson for the remaining term.
I think there's, oh, okay.
Yes, for the
I thought
remaining
you were gonna
term.
do the alternate.
For the remaining term, Alan Natchev had to step off of the Zoning Board of Appeals. His term is up at the end of 2017. So Alana Nelson to be appointed to the rest of Alan Natchev's term. That would be December 31st of 2017. And what?
Town board discussion, as
Zoning.
far as,
We
oh,
haven't
I'm
yet.
sorry.
We haven't yet. We're in
We haven't
discussion.
yet because we have not had a chance to discuss.
Do you want me to do the alternate for John Musa?
We have to agree to an alternate. There's never been an alternate to the ZBA, am I correct?
I haven't had a chance to look into that.
I believe you're
In
right.
town
There,
code.
right, but there never has been,
And it's in town code.
was the alternate for the ZBA
At one time, yes.
at one time, and after that, there was no alternates on
No,
record.
not after he left, no.
Right.
So it's been a couple of years.
So what Karina would like to do is bring back an alternate for the ZBA. If we want to hold that off till the next meeting, we would like to ask John Hughes if he would like this position before we go ahead and give it to him. So I think we should table that position until
Yeah.
we discuss it with these people.
Good idea.
Ilana Nielsen was recommended by Jane Smith, who is the chairperson of the ZBA. And James Layton would like to keep his position
she
and be
agreed.
reappointed, and she agreed
Jane
with that
Smith
also. So we are going by Jane Smith's recommendations.
Now,
on
did we
this.
meet with this Alana?
No, we didn't. We weren't aware that the position was gonna be open because
Of
Alan, that whole deal with Alan,
Okay.
and then, we didn't give her a chance to interview. We are actually taking the word of Jane Smith, the chairperson. So it's up to you if you want to table this, that's fine.
I'd like to table this and have an opportunity to speak with her,
Okay,
and just,
I'll agree with that.
okay. I'm fine with that, so maybe we can just make this for James Layton. Are you
yeah, I'm
agreeing
okay
with
with that
keeping
one.
him?
Yeah,
Question
Okay.
on the
Sure.
dates of the alternates.
Mm-hmm.
Are they filling vacancies that are already in progress,
Yes.
which would expire? So what they're doing is
They're
fulfilling an unexpired term.
They expired,
They
both
both
of them
expired.
expired on 2015.
Okay,
And Alan actually moved into the
Right.
full-time position.
right.
I have to say that everyone we interviewed were amazing. It was a really hard choice. They were just really good people. And upon further discussion, we chose the best people for the positions. And I'm really sorry that everyone can't.
well, to keep those
Yeah.
names for, in the future.
And
because
yeah, I
these
would
things come up
definitely
every so
like to
often.
keep those names for the future and any other, excuse
Well,
me?
part of it is.
Yes,
Part of
the planning board is, the first one.
And James Layton is.
Yeah,
Oh, and.
The only
Yeah.
one we're gonna wait on is Alana. Steve would like to meet with her and interview her before we give her the full-time and not John Hughes. And the other could have the alternate. And Dave seconded that, and,
Dave?
yes.
Yeah.
And all in favor on?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, John, you wanna read this one?
Okay. Resolution 16019, appointing library steering committee member. Town Board of Town of Unionville hereby created a library steering committee. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Unionville hereby appoints the following individuals to the Town of Unionville Library Steering Committee. Any individual who is interested and attend the Town of Unionville Library Steering Committee meetings. And be it further resolved that members of the Town of Unionville Library Steering Committee shall serve at the pleasure of the Town Board. And be it further resolved that,
We cannot choose a
We
chairperson
can't.
because we haven't met the people who want to be on the committee yet,
so
so
that part I'll leave out there.
that part you leave out.
So we'll have to go to a roll call vote.
Second.
Second,
No, who seconded it?
Wait, are we having discussion?
will someone
So you got a second?
second it
yes.
first and then we'll do the discussion? I'll second it. Town board discussion?
I wrote up, because it was requested, what the purpose of the steering team committee is, so I'd like to read that, so everyone, not everybody knows what it says. So, we had agreed on the original resolution that it was to study, assess, and potentially implement sustainable funds for the library. So off of that, I wrote that the Unionville Library Steering Committee is established February 2016 as an advisory committee to the town board. The Library Steering Committee serves at the pleasure of the town board and has no function to take action unless expressly directed to do so by the town board. The purpose of the Library Steering Committee is to investigate all possible options to ensure full, sustainable public library service for all Unionville residents. As per Resolution 16-11, the Library Steering Committee is charged with the responsibility to study, assess, and make recommendations to the town board. The Library Steering Committee will present all options in a clear written manner to the town board. The presentation will advise and educate the public of the pros and cons of all options. The town board may utilize the library steering committee to establish future committee that will work on the option that is selected by the town board. As per Resolution 1611, authorizing creation of a library steering committee passed on January 21st of 2016, the committee shall consist of 8 to 12 residents of Unionville. The chairperson of the committee shall be appointed from the membership by and serve at the pleasure of the town board. The town board members appointed to the committee was myself, as motioned by Patricia Tompkins, the supervisor, and seconded by Dave McMorris, town board member, on February 4th of 2016. So my discussion is, I think it's really hard to have a committee when you don't know who's going to be there at any given time. It's hard to be purposeful when you're not acting together as a group. So I think the intent initially will be an education piece, so we can all come at it from some level playing field. So if somebody then comes to the third meeting but missed the first two, I myself am concerned with, I have no problem with them being public meetings that people can come out and speak at. I'm just concerned that if we don't have a committee and it's just any individuals who are interested to attend to show up to a meeting, there's no commitment level there.
But how do you choose between a homeschool mother, a father, a businessman? How do you make a decision on who to allow on this committee and tell the next person absolutely not, when they're involved just as much as everybody else is? You can't choose between people who should be allowed to be on a library committee at all.
But these are the only
This
people
is their
that
life,
came
this is their
forward.
taxes, this is their, right, and those are the people who are gonna show up. So if they're not interested, they are not gonna show up and they are not gonna be on the
Right,
committee.
I don't want to exclude people other than those. I mean,
Right.
maybe nobody else
I
come,
mean,
but at least
there-
others may have the opportunity.
There was no real announcement made that we're going to have that we're going to interview candidates for a committee. Like, we interviewed candidates for the planning board. We made a motion, we said that we were going to interview candidates for a planning board, and we had told the people how to get in touch with, either through Mary Lou or somebody, that these,
Well, the planning
so that we
board,
can have interviews.
For a
You
paid
gave us a
position.
list,
for a paid position
It was
that
for
is
a paid
absolutely
position, but-
necessary with
Volunteer.
but if you're,
a volunteer, anyone in the community
I was on-
should be allowed
Right.
to volunteer.
I was on the Budget Review Committee for Arlington 1 year. It wasn't a paid position. There were a lot of people that wanted to be on that. We submitted resumes, they looked over the resumes, and they interviewed people, and those were the people that ended up on the committee. We weren't getting paid. If you want it, apply for it. I mean, if you want to make it a committee in that aspect, it's not fair to turn around and say, well, one person decides, yeah, these people signed up, they're going to be on the committee. They could be people that have something against the library. They could be people that, oh yeah, I'm all for the library. And everybody else in the middle is going to get lost.
I just don't know how you choose between each person to be on a library committee when everyone has the same stakes. That everyone needs to be educated, everyone's children need to be educated, and everyone should have the same say. I just think that, I'm gonna be honest with you, those are the people who will show up and continue to show up. But you also can't turn anyone away from a library committee.
So we need to amend our resolution that says 8 to 12.
People have volunteered.
We can't,
I
like,
thought we just did right here.
so
Yeah.
this, it's not stated in those terms that we are amending resolution 1611, which was
Well-
passed on 1/21.
This will supersede it. We're saying any individual who's interested and attend the Town of Unionville Library Steering Committee meetings.
So then how do we pick a chairperson out of that?
That group,
That, you
The
know,
group who shows up and,
Right.
and then they can put in their resumes and we can
so, you
interview
know, let,
whoever would like to be, because
pick
I'm
a
sure
date
not
that you're
all of
gonna
them
have a
want
meeting.
it.
Pick a date that you're gonna have a meeting,
Right.
and make it public, and
Anyone interested, just.
people that are interested,
Show up.
show up.
And then from the people who show up, you ask who is interested in being a chairperson. They can submit a resume. The town board can go over it and discuss it and choose a chairperson who, we think is fit.
Be enough. That you don't
So the first couple of meetings will not have a chairperson. I would be running them.
you would be running them as the liaison. Does that seem fair?
Seems different.
well, if it doesn't work,
We
you
come
can
back
always
and amend it.
revise it, right?
And I have a copy of your statement.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I think I seconded.
Yes, you did.
Any other town board discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so John, you read that? Okay, Dave?
Okay, the following resolution is offered, Resolution 16-010, authorized payments. Be it resolved, the town board of the Town of Unionville hereby authorizes the payment of all general fund claims and highway fund vouchers as set forth in the abstract number 2 of 2016, which is available at the town clerk's office, and authorize the town supervisor to make all payments.
I'll second that.
Town board discussion?
I just want to make mention that on a couple, I requested the bid, especially for salt, like there's supposed to be a bid identifying number or where I'm supposed to find that, and I know that Mr. Wisman is not here tonight, unfortunately, but that was one of them I did on the 3rd of February. There's still been no bid provided, and there was another one, a slightly later date in February, that no information has been provided. So I have not signed off on those vouchers.
From the state or county, was that?
Yeah, I
It
believe
was
we're following,
it was on
we're
state
using the
bid.
county.
State bid, so-
Yeah.
No, the
Would
salt
be-
was on
State.
state bid.
Okay.
That is
$89
what he
a
told
ton, I
me.
believe.
Yeah,
for the
so
salt.
That's what he
that,
told
no,
me, yeah.
just that he's using the state bid.
But on the voucher, it should actually say like state bid
I'll write it
number,
down for you if you
da-da-da-da.
want.
Any other town board discussion?
No?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Steve?
Is this the UV system? we're-
Yes.
Okay. Resolution accepting request for proposal for installation of UV system at Town Hall. Whereas the Town of Unionville must upgrade and add improvements to its existing water treatment system at Town Hall, and whereas Town Engineer